Olympics, you said, no?
And we are live.
Olympics.
Kohli might come out of retirement at that time, T20.
Exactly.
Okay, hello and welcome to a special edition Dugout. Usually we don't have it on Saturday, but today, because of a newsworthy item that we have on Sports Today, and it's our own indigenous, homegrown news, we thought it merits a discussion. For those of you who are our regular subscribers would know what we are talking about. Sunil Gavaskar, in an interaction with Sports Today yesterday, mentioned about India-Pakistan cricket, where he said that, listen, and there are various layers to that. The first thing he put it out, that there should be no cricket with Pakistan so long as there is cross-border terrorism, and Pakistan remains the hub of that, whether it is directly or indirectly. That you cannot, at one point you are at loggerheads, you cannot have cricket. That's his first point, because sport is recreation. It's about building good relations. But if you're not going to have great relations otherwise in a political setup, then how can you try to have building of good relations in sport? So sport, and at this moment he says no cricket with Pakistan. Now the other thing is, which is a change from the usual stance, that India, as you know, has not had bilateral ties with Pakistan for more than a decade. 2013 was the last time, so you have not had. So now what changes? What more can India do? So you've already not engaged with them in bilateral level, and also you've refused to play on Pakistani soil. So those are the two things that the BCCI took stance on, and they've followed up on that. Yet we've had something like Pahalgam, right? So what is the next step? And that Mr. Gavaskar has suggested, and he minced no words, where he said that, listen, it's time to play Asia Cup without Pakistan. So get Pakistan out of Asia Cup and play like that. In case that is not possible, because Asian Cricket Council is made up of multiple members, and if India cannot get those members on their side to have this sort of an arrangement, then disband the Asian Cricket Council, he feels. India should pull out of it or disband it, and then instead of an Asia Cup, have a tri-series or a quadrangular series or whatever, and you can have an invitational which BCCI could organize, where it ends up inviting Asian sides, whether it's Afghanistan, Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, UAE or Nepal or whatever, and just have an invitational tournament, which will be a de facto Asia Cup, even though you can call it Asia Cup also if you'd like. There's no trademark to it. So you can have your own tournament if you cannot isolate. So these are his suggestions. This is what he has said. And when Sunil Gavaskar says, then it does become a talking point, because many consider him as the voice of Indian cricket, considering he's been one of the stalwarts of the game and has been earlier a player and a captain, a record maker, and now the voice of Indian cricket for so long as a broadcaster. So these are things that he's put forward, and what we'll try and discuss is how much of it is possible, it's plausible. Saying one thing and effectively being able to implement that is another thing. Can that be done? Is that the right step? If it is the right step, what can we achieve out of it, if anything at all? So we'll throw open the debate. Anyone who wants to chip in with their thoughts.
Didn't we have something very similar to the 2023 ODI World Cup build-up, where there was a lot of issues over Pakistan coming to India, whether they'll come to India? Didn't the circus happen even before the Champions Trophy? India not maintaining the thing that, okay, we will never go to Pakistan. And you played the entire thing in a hybrid model. Terror attacks have happened. Terror attacks will happen, because yes, now there is this anger, what happened in Pahalgam on Tuesday. There was a similar anger what happened on February 14th, 2019 in Pulwama. There was a similar anger to what happened in 2016 in Uri. Pakistan, India missed 3 golden opportunities to hurt Pakistan where it can hurt most. Isolate them, cut off, use your financial might, convince, even take unilateral action. In the 21st century, there has been unilateral action taken by many nations. Ask Russia, ask US. India is the superpower, right? The economic superpower. What is stopping them from saying, you isolate Pakistan, don't allow them to come to any form of cricket, and they'll automatically suffer? Hit them where it hurts them hard. Hit them where it hurts them. You are all claiming, right? Oh, India, Pakistan, yaar. Within 4 months, there is a guarantee. We'll beat them on the pitch. What have you achieved by beating them on the pitch?
No.
India-Pakistan is not a rivalry, for Pete's sake. So anyway, that logic is not there. That's the most marketable thing. And for once, I want certain stakeholders to have some integrity. Stop marketing useless rivalries just for the sake of filling up your fat slush funds. Enough is enough. Take a stance now. I wish the BCCI and the Indian government now has the guts. Stop cricket at any level, be it even chota mota street cricket, Legends League, ICC events. Stop playing Pakistan and don't invite Pakistan for any kind of ICC events or any kind of events, because let's not mince words, let's call it a spade a spade. They are a terror state. They are a failed state.
How is it possible for the BCCI, to not invite Pakistan for an ICC tournament? How can they do that? That's my question to you.
They need to isolate everybody needs to isolate Pakistan, not just just India isolating them. That's not going to help, neither in the ACC nor at the ICC level. And second thing, you just mentioned that 4 months later everybody will be saying that we'll beat them on the pitch. I don't think this time that's going to be the case. I think this time the line will be drawn very clearly, because it was Sunil Gavaskar sir only who a couple of years back said exactly this thing, that why should we give away 2 points to the Pakistan team just because something is happening. We should beat them and take those 2 points. We should not be giving it away to them. But it's the same person today who's saying that no matter what, no cricket should be played. And I think that will remain with all of the people or everybody. The other thing is that the Indian team can either, like Sunny ji also mentioned, that can pull themselves out of the ACC and form a new organization, or invite all the teams and have their own Asia Cup. But for that, all the boards need to be on the same page. For that, all the members of the ACC need to be on the same page about isolating Pakistan. Is that the case or not? I don't know about that.
Okay.
See, first tell me one thing, that taking it step by step and try and answer that. I just want the first question answered before we go. He says, have Pakistan out of the Asian Cricket Council. Is that possible right now? Because the presidentship of Asian Cricket Council is on a rotational basis, and right now Mohsin Naqvi is the president. Now, if he is the president, and I know that everyone will have a voting power, firstly, is it possible to have Pakistan out of Asian Cricket Council?
You can make a new Asian Cricket Council in that sense.
That's separate. Right now I want to know, in the existing scenario, Asian Cricket Council, can you take Pakistan out?
With the current status quo, no.
You can't, because he's the president.
Can
you, even though he's the president, can you have a quorum where all the member nations sit together and vote? If that is a motion that India suggests, then that motion can be passed if majority members vote in favor of that?
No, that's basically, only possible if Pakistan don't really have good bilateral ties with that respective country. Because if they have those good relations, then there is a good chance that that particular board might not agree with it.
Exactly.
So,
that's the thing, is everybody on the same page regarding that? That's the thing.
See, in this current
because
context,
if everybody is, even if there is no way legally to remove Mohsin Naqvi, you can still Mohsin Naqvi, you cannot remove him, but all the members can come.
But he cannot take sole decisions.
Yeah, he
decision
cannot.
has to be taken based on
I'm saying,
voting.
even if worst comes to worst, if you cannot remove him with everybody coming together as well, all the nations
First,
can.
I want to know, can they come together or not?
See,
That's
there is
the
a
thing,
possibility.
will they come together? Because if they come together, I think anything is possible.
In cricketing terms, most countries, okay, let's look at geopolitics as well. Would Sri Lanka come on the same page? It's a possibility to what India says. Would Bangladesh come? Maybe not.
Maybe not.
Because of the statements that are coming out of Bangladesh.
There is a problem
not.
between Pakistan and Afghanistan.
No, Afghanistan will come on the same page.
Yes.
There's a possibility that might vote in favor. You'll also have to look at
Sri Lanka.
Sri Lanka. I've already spoken
There is
about.
Nepal, there is Hong Kong,
UAE. Look at the
UAE.
other associate nations also. Yeah.
You've got good relations with the UAE also bilaterally at this stage, okay? Not so much with Pakistan. Nepal, Hong Kong, all the others can be just ensured that you're in the same block.
But one thing that we are forgetting, I think the biggest factor will be what these boards will realize is that when Pakistan is in there, the biggest selling game, India-Pakistan is out of that. And that, the money that comes from there will affect all the members because everybody gets some share out of that and everybody is making money out of that. So they will be affected by that as well. So all these factors, I don't know if all the members will be on the same page or not, because I'm saying if all the members are on the same page and you cannot remove Mohsin Naqvi, still everybody else can leave and Mohsin Naqvi alone can be in that association. How does it even matter?
Yeah, so no, so that's the thing. One, you're saying the money about the India-Pak game, but if India take a firm stand, then other countries which also rely on that money that comes from the Asian Cricket Council or the ICC will have to choose the better option. So what would you rather have? Would you rather have BCCI be part of the association that you're making, whereby you do get some money because sponsorship comes from India, television right money, 80-90% of it comes from India, and then that you'll get that? Or you are reliant on just India-Pak game. So I'm saying if India-Pak game is removed from that, that might hurt your total pool from where the money comes at a 20 to 10 to 20 to 15%. But if India goes out, it hurts your pool by 80%. So if I'm another neutral country at the moment, neutral in the sense who right now is not involved in this directly, then I have to choose what is a better option. So I rather take a BCCI on my side, by which there will be an Asia Cup, which may be devoid of an India-Pakistan game, but it will be an Asia Cup nonetheless, which will have India, which will give us some sort of share that we share without an India-Pak game. Or I upset India and then have a tournament without India, which will neither have India-Pakistan game, neither have India, so it will have nothing.
But the only problem is the most amount of money, I think, if I'm not wrong, is made out of the India-Pakistan game.
Correct.
As compared to if one India-Pakistan game is on one side and all the other games
So
together is on another.
No, it'll be 20% of the whole pie. So you'll do, let's say, whatever the money comes, it'll be 20% of the whole pie. I did a video the other time which I showed you in the World Cup. There were certain other games that garnered more ratings than an India-Pakistan game during the World Cup. There was an India-New Zealand game which got
India-Australia.
India-Australia got the final, got more ratings. So yes, India-Pakistan, as I said, how much will you attribute it to? Let's say the entire economy, 15%, 20% at max. You take the 20% out, at least there is 80% of money that will be shared. If India goes out, there is 0% left.
You are saying no, unilaterally how that can happen, okay? Who is heading the ICC at this point in time?
Jai Shah.
Okay? ACC, India can ensure and lobby with the other nations that you be with us. If you take India out of any cricketing tournament, that tournament ceases to exist. Because that tournament will have no relevance whatsoever. There was talk, right? If India cancel and pull out of the Champions Trophy, which they very well could have, you could have also made a statement at that time. But as I've said, you have missed two golden opportunities. And this is a third opportunity that has come where you can make a definitive statement unilaterally. Again, one instance of isolation has happened in cricket, which was apartheid South Africa. But even there, at that time, the whites were very much in power at MCC. England and Australia, they were the control freaks there. They were very reluctant. They were very, very reluctant to vote against South Africa. What tilted the favor? Luckily, the West Indies were strong at that time. India and Pakistan were also there in that stance. So that is why it was a rather even split in the world of cricket. Here, I know that an Australia won't come together, a New Zealand won't come with India, and England won't come with India. Why? They are not impacted by terrorism by Pakistan. But we have been impacted for nearly 30-40 years by terrorism.
Asia Cup, I'm saying somehow you might just manage. you might just manage the Asia Cup without the Pakistan or without India, or whatever you do. But at some point next year, you'll be playing the T20 World Cup in India. You'll have to take one call at some point of time, where you see a long-term solution in it. Either you decide not to play and let them have the 2 points. How much difference will it make to the Indian team? I don't think much difference.
See, no, but there is a possibility that you can do. I'm just saying, he's given example. Russia was boycotted at an Olympic level. You had tennis very recently where Russian players, because of the Ukrainian war, Russian players weren't allowed to participate in Grand Slam. So
Wimbledon.
It has happened. South Africa, no, I think even French Open was an issue.
That's correct.
Yeah, both French Open and Wimbledon, they weren't allowed to participate, and then they participated under a no flag. So they participated as neutral athletes or whatever. So they just could not display the Russian flag. My point is, and as you mentioned, South Africa, but on those occasions, everyone came together. Now the thing is, and I'm saying this is where Indian government needs to step up, and you have to do it diplomatically. I don't think the BCCI alone can do this. Yes, BCCI has the might of the money, but for you to have every country, that includes Australia, England, the Caribbean islands, South Africa, New Zealand, all of that, them to come and vote for a resolution of not having Pakistan in an ICC tournament, that needs to be done at a diplomatic channel, and that's where the strength of your government and your diplomatic channels really come through. And I would like the current Indian government to push for that, as did the first world countries did against Russia. They all got together. The problem that arises, and that's the problem with the first world, whenever there is, and this is a larger thing, whenever there is a terrorist attack in the first world, whether UK, France, US, whatever, then the first world countries all come together. They stand in solidarity with each other. But I'm afraid when it happens in India, then the same countries, whether it's UK, Canada, US, France, all of this, then they're exposed. What did you hear just now of Donald Trump say? He never really stood out and said that, listen, what has happened to India is wrong. We will take. He said, no, Pakistan are also an ally. India is also an ally. That is a problem they've been having for 1,000 years, which he's obviously got his history wrong, like most other things, and says they will sort it out. Which means for you, then it's not a terrorist attack, no? So that's why, and the entire first world country then says, even their reporting, I think BBC was pulled up for exactly that. Where they said they didn't call it a terrorist attack, they called it something else or whatever.
Just an attack.
Something like that. So that's how they view when it happens in their countries, then it's a terrorist attack, and the whole first world, the European,
European Union in that sense, who come
not
together.
only European Union, I mean US also, they're all Europeans, like Americans.
NATO,
So they all come together and support each other and then take a stance. But that's what I would like India to do. Use your diplomatic channels, use your soft power that you have with all the other big countries, and then try and do it. Unfortunately, where you stand right now, and that's a harsh reality whether you like it or not, unfortunately India does not have that power to influence these first world countries. And I think that should be your aim, to be reaching that level where we can get the first world countries on the same page, whereby then you can take these tough stance as the US or UK or France or Australia and all these countries have taken in the past.
This is where any government that you look at it, in Indian independence, they have not been able to do it. Plain and simple, be it 65, be it 71, be it 99, be it any terror attack major that has happened ever since 2005.
But that's again a political thing where India is not able to have that much power at the world stage.
That is why, what was the suggestion now? Diplomatically. But why do you suggest, Gulati and Shashwat, why did I say that? That you have to take unilateral action. If you can't influence the first world, okay, take unilateral action. What is stopping you? You know your might, you know your clout.
How will you take unilateral, let's say, in an ICC tournament? What best can you do? See, to have an ICC, now, this time you had that issue.
Yes.
For your Champions Trophy, right? What happened? All the rest of the countries played mere spectator. They didn't take any side. And eventually you had to sort it out amongst yourself only. But nobody is right now reached a level where they are going to back you in not having Pakistan. So how do you take a unilateral decision? Yes, you can decide to pull out of a tournament. Okay? and say that we are not going to be part of, that is going to hurt world cricket. Agreed. But in the long run, it's going to hurt you as well. Because what do we celebrate? World Cup wins, we celebrate this. You wouldn't want to be part of a setup like that. Today, we have the IPL, we have everything because we are predominantly part of the larger cricketing family. You cannot really pull out of that unless you have other people supporting you and you have Pakistan removed from there. That's the only solution. You pulling out is going to be...
You have not...
You can let
You
go
have
of
not
those 2
tried.
points. You can let
haven't
go of
tried.
those 2 points.
You haven't
You
tried.
have no other
Okay.
option. What else can you do?
Because see,
You either have to play them or leave the 2
you've
points.
got
It's better to
certain
leave.
stakeholders and money-minded stakeholders who do not want this to happen. You will never try. You didn't try in Pulwama. You didn't try. You just did some posturing which did not even lead to
No,
anything.
this time it's different.
Yeah, you
This
banned,
time
you
it's
banned a
different.
tournament from its broadcast in India. The same thing happened in 2019. The same thing is happening now. What in extension to it, what's more happening is
How
that, you know,
much-
the YouTube channels of the relevant, the stakeholders of, Pakistan is getting banned. But the point here is, and I really feel, I think this accounts for the fact that this is where the government has to answer, and this is where maybe the BCCI and the other sporting federations also have to take a stand. Let's just go a few years back. Why did the Indian tennis team travel to Pakistan for the Davis Cup? Because
Coco and all those other...
the likes of Sumit Nagal, and I'm forgetting one name, I think it was Shashi Kumar who was the other tennis player. They refused to travel to Pakistan.
Sir
but then-
only did that story.
yeah, and there were a few, and some really had to travel to Pakistan there. The point is that in case of some of the other sports, the government is not interfering. But whenever this question is being asked of the Indian cricketers as to when the bilateral ties are going to resume between India and Pakistan, their only statement is that it's up to the government to decide as to how things will progress between India and Pakistan bilateral cricket. This is first of all something. This has to be cleared. Why one thing is different for one sport and why another thing is different for another sport.
That should have been done during Champions Trophy only.
And secondly, also one more point here, that let's just be very clear about it. And I don't think, there is no stand that's going to be taken with respect to this. With all due respect, I don't think the BCCI has the guts to take the step to say basically this thing that we are going to boycott Pakistan in all the ICC tournaments, because that it is a league stage tournament. You give up those 2 points and there's a chance that you might not even make it to the next round. So that is where the trophy is at stake. That is where everything is at stake for just those 2
Can you
points.
not have Pakistan out of...
No, if that was the
That
case,
is a different discussion. That is about having a unilateral decision,
But
with
you're
all
right.
the respective countries.
That seems
I don't think
impossible.
BCCI
because see,
cannot do
if
it.
that would have been
With all
the
due
case,
respect,
India
though.
tried their level best to shift the whole tournament out of Pakistan. And if all the other boards would have been with them, all of them would have wanted to be on the same page as India. And if they would not have been with Pakistan, they also would have wanted to play their games at Dubai. What happened in the end? India and Pakistan at this point, as far as ICC is concerned, are on a level playing field. Despite India having that much muscle power, that much money power, they're still there because despite India playing all their games in Dubai, with Pakistan having the venue, they had to come down to this fact that when it happens in India, Pakistan will also not come. And that is a thing that's definitely going to happen, because 2026 T20 World Cup, even this year's Women's World Cup, all the games of Pakistan will be playing in Dubai. So if India had that much power and that much influence over other boards, this would not have been the situation.
India is just putting on, the government and the BCCI are putting on a facade. There is no real power with the Indian government to take any kind of a thing. Because...
Sports-wise.
Sports-wise, because you have been poisoned with this thought that, you cannot mix politics with sports. I'm sorry for all those...
Now I think government has taken a stance. No mixing. You cannot keep them aside.
We
So
hope
they made
that
it clear.
comes. We hope they have made many things clear in the past, but they never followed up with it. Your acid test will come in September, your acid test will come in October, November, your acid test will come in February. On all 3 counts, remember this particular time, on 3rd of May, we are calling it, it will fail. Because your government will just say one thing, your stakeholders will say one thing, but at the end of the day, they'll forget it conveniently. And you said about money, na, Shashwat? That's the problem. You may be divided by a line, but you're united by greed. Your stakeholders in this country are greedy and your populace is dumbed down. Admit the fact, Pulwamas will happen, Pahalgams will happen. Uris will happen. Mumbai will happen. But oh no, we want India-Pakistan cricket. That is the mentality. And your stakeholders are buying into it.
Okay, let me ask you a question. India has, cut off ties with Pakistan when it comes to bilateral and not even playing on Pakistani soil. Has that in any way discouraged them or hampered their role in sponsoring terrorism? It has not, right?
It hasn't.
The larger point is we can discuss, and I agree with this, that you cannot have terror and sport on the same platform. And I agree that even if India are to take the hit of 2 points, because you will not reach the stage and it seems very impossible. It's all, for us to beat our chest and say we are the most powerful, richest AO and we'll get Pakistan removed. If you can do it, well done, but it does seem very tough for you to do it. So if you cannot, then the best you can do is forfeit those 2 points or whatever, right? So assuming you forfeit the 2 points and you don't engage in bilateral, you don't play in their soil, you try and do something at the Asia level also, let's say that's still more possible. But I'm saying in the larger picture, can doing this reach or find a solution to the bigger problem? That is what we are faced with. Because I don't think this is in any way has acted as a deterrent for Pakistan to do it. You cannot play sport with them if they really cared about sport or not caring about sport. And if they thought that because of it, let's say sponsoring terrorism will hurt us in our sporting ties and let's be mindful of it, they would have done something about it. But they have not, right? So what I'm saying is that sport is a minor consideration. So we can do any of those things that we're talking about. That may still not be the solution to the main problem, for which you'll have to come up with a diplomatic or a military or whatever. I mean,
you need to fight a two-front war. You need to fight a two-front war, one culturally and the other you have to do it militarily. In the case of apartheid South Africa, okay, through bleeding them by 1,000 cuts by sporting isolation, they did struggle. They did struggle. People who dared to go to South Africa because suddenly after 1970, they would decided, okay, let us all ban South Africa. Suddenly after 1970, there was enough protest. There was enough protest in those first world countries to say, let us not keep any kind of relationships with South Africa. It was culminated, if I look at a sporting example, 1968, the Springboks rugby team they were hijacked in Twickenham. Their bus, they were going to ram that team bus heading into Twickenham, but then it didn't happen. Every game where they went, the grounds were either littered with weed or they had those kind of chemicals which destroyed the pitch. Okay. South Africa's segregation policy ensured that was only, there is a thing, South Africa Separate Amenities Act. That was the main sore point by which they said, okay, we can't take our teams. New Zealand couldn't go because they had Maori players, so they were under the thing. Here, has there been one major protest against the government, against the BCCI? Boss, stop all ties with Pakistan on any level. Has there been a protest like that? No. Second, everybody will say, oh, the world will boycott us here. We are all Vasudeva Kutumbakam. We want to ensure we take the world along. But the world conveniently hypocritical. The first world will take unilateral action. No, we have found something. Let us take action there. US did it in Iraq. Israel is doing it in Gaza. But there has to be success somewhere. Look at Sri Lanka. Yes, they couldn't get a solution to the Tamil issue for 28 years. 1983 to 2009, 26 years rather. But when it happened, they didn't care about the world. They did what was necessary for their country to survive. And sports suffered. Even now, you won't see any kind of Tamil representation in Sri Lanka. But their country is somehow standing tall, right? You don't want to do it in India. Because there are a lot of stakeholders here who do not want it to happen. Forfeiting 2 points, that is the least of my concern. I don't care about those 2 points.
If you want India to become the superpower, for that they have to win, those multiple ICC tournaments. And if India are to give away those 2 points to Pakistan, it would reduce India's chances of probably winning a tournament.
Again,
because it is a cutthroat battle.
No, then you should have the power. You should have this much power that you're able to isolate Pakistan on a global level. That's also
You
not
don't have
happening.
that power. Let a truth
Because
bomb
if that
here, my
was the
friends.
case, then Champions Trophy situation would have been very different.
Truth bomb. You don't have power. None of the stakeholders in India have power. It's just a facade that you put on. That's why you allowed this to happen. You allowed the tennis team to travel. You allowed the Kho team to travel to Pakistan.
The squash team had travelled in early 2010, yeah.
I mean, why are you playing a double game, firstly? The question should be asked within ourselves. Why are we allowing them to play a double game? Isn't it so obvious that, boss, whatever you do, it just will not make sense. A terror state is a terror state and you cannot have any kind of things with them. But still there are a lot of peddlers out there who say, no, you can't equate it with that. They are different, that is different. That is the thought that has poisoned us for 50 years, right? And we'll continue to live in that and people will continue to peddle that. And that is why what Sunil Gavaskar stated, that Pakistan shouldn't be in the Asia Cup. Technically, that is not happening. Number one. Number two, isolating Pakistan. When will India show their might? I don't think they will. Past generations of governments have never done it. How will they do it now?
It doesn't matter past, many things didn't happen. You have to start somewhere, no? You can't keep saying past it didn't.
Will they start? I don't
That's the
think
question.
we are always a second moving nation. If someone else does it, we take decades to follow that. We don't take it.
Why? The first world countries have done it for so long. What are you waiting for?
Because you've got
Second
elements.
moving also move at some point.
Only when you're
Second
provoked to
moving-
the extreme.
So what more extreme do you need after that?
You need see it. We all thought Pulwama was extreme on February 14th. Still, it didn't make an iota of a difference. Still, Mumbai happened November 26, 2008. It didn't make an iota of difference. Sure, you stopped bilateral ties with them. Big deal. Big deal. I am willing to downplay anything that you have done, but then 4 years later you invited them on a silver platter, yaar. Under the so-called peace thing, hope of peace. It is only hope for ashes between India and Pakistan.
The only thing that I see that is possible is that India says that we are not going to play any ICC tournament until and unless everybody is ready to isolate Pakistan and not have them all together. That's the only way, because over there then it will come down to choosing one of the
It's
two.
easier said than done, as we've discussed a
happen.
lot.
Diplomatically,
It's not
there are a
gonna
lot of
happen.
hurdles.
We'll take a few questions before we wind up. Saptarishi Ray says, make Australia, India, Indonesia, Afghanistan and Sri Lanka, Nepal and Bhutan in ACC, get Pakistan and Bangladesh out. He feels it's not going to be easy. Freaking Awesome says, play against Afghanistan either in Sri Lanka or in UAE. It would be competitive.
Agree.
Moshi Messi says he agrees. Like you just said, agreed. SRNA says, why just cricket? Stop all sports with Pakistan. Priyanshu says, playing Asia Cup with Pak would be shameful. Play tri-series between India, Afghanistan, Sri Lanka. Don't play with Pak and Bangladesh.
We are forgetting one more thing. I want to see what the BCCI and the government does in August.
You can call South Africa, anybody in for. I remember some under 19 Asia Cup. There was some at some point there was South Africa also who played the Asia Cup. They were
Because
invited.
I think
as
one
guests.
nation had to pull out. I think economically some
something like
issue
that
had happened. Yeah. Let's see. Again, why wait until September, October? August. India, Bangladesh. You got hostilities with Bangladesh. Do you have the gumption to ensure we won't travel to Bangladesh? Let's wait. And I'm pretty much sure we will all be doing the build-up to India, Bangladesh when the 3 ODIs and the 3 T20Is have been played. Simple. Even there, despite hostilities, you will go. Let's wait until August and see what happens.
Okay, Abhishek. Oh, I was just going to read his comment and he's retracted his comment. Okay, no problem.
Yeah, this one. India should play Nidahas Trophy with Sri Lanka, Afghanistan, Bangladesh, like earlier did. 2018. Cancel Asia Cup.
Okay.
That's what he says.
Clean Harry is saying Afghanistan is also considered a terror state. Why do we still play with them? I don't think at the moment there is any diplomatic issue between India and Afghanistan.
Although Afghanistan are in a mess for some other reason, they shouldn't even be playing cricket.
But what he's trying to say is that, like we are saying that Pakistan should be isolated on a global level, if it comes down to Afghanistan,
So
we should do it.
Afghanistan was also isolated for the
We
longest
should do
time.
it, yeah.
Now they have a government in place. Whether even if it's a Taliban government, they have a government in place. So
Yeah.
Sarat Chandra is saying, will Sports Today end shows on India Park games if it happens? Nationalists, ban rahe, whatever. Will we all stop watching that game? Or that is a test for everyone. If all of you who are there, you stop watching it, there is no demand for it, we will also not cover it. Automatically, that should be the end of it. Let's put everyone who puts the comments there also on test. Huh?
Indeed.
Okay.
But that's the problem.
Last couple of questions. Freaking Awesome says, world politics is dirty, no country is showing their real face, all have their different masks on, which is a valid point. Okay. Dhanush says, what's your reaction to Shahid Afridi's comment? What is his comment?
He said that they continue doing it themselves and then say that Pakistan is doing it. They do their mess and then they
See,
tell.
but what
blame
else do
it
you
on us.
expect from, see, someone is from Pakistan, he will obviously speak in favor of their country. Na? Just as we are going to speak in favor of our country, they are also going to speak in favor of their country. And I think that, whatever is the issue, whatever it is that has happened, everyone knows where it is. And sometime I would prefer that the Indian government also puts a lot of facts out so that the world knows where it happened. Now they've already put those facts out that two of them were
general commanders of the Pakistan army.
Yeah, some have been ex-soldiers also who served.
The person had.
Yeah. Ram Gautam has the suggestion. How about international players playing in the PSL could be kept out of Indian
What's their
circuit?
fault actually? It is their personal call. They can choose to play in PSL, and just because they feature in the tournament, why should they be kept out
They're
of
only
the IPL?
playing PSL because they are not selected in the IPL.
No, that is
anyways.
a different thing. But PSL at least has been happening for the last few years now, and it does not usually coincide with the IPL. It is happening this time around because
It happens
of the
before the
Champions
IPL.
Trophy.
Yeah, it happens
I
in
don't
March.
think that could be the reason.
But again,
February,
when there is, again, I go back to apartheid South Africa. 25 Sri Lankan players went. The players didn't have anything to do, but then they got banned lifetime. Was it their fault? No. West Indies players, some of them got banned. A West Indies team going to South Africa in 1983. Imagine what a statement that was. But then they were served with life bans. So yes, I think there is a precedent to what Ram Gautam was saying. That you have to ensure, you have to put out the strongest deterrent possible. But we have not been doing it. For 10 years we have not been doing it. So where is the hope this time around? Again, forget September, October. Your test will come in August. Let's see where we stand on that then.
Okay, final comment. Abhishek Ranjan wants to know what's your reaction on Pakistani YouTubers ban in India? A lot of them are saying 70% viewer are from India. I think under the present circumstances, if you're taking or if you're talking about pulling out of Asian Cricket Council, disbanding it or whatever, then I think this is a minor thing. As I said, you cannot, and this is a decision taken by the government. You can't argue with it at the moment. I agree that a lot of those YouTubers have nothing. And by the way, because a lot of people also question me, traveling to Pakistan again and again. I've tried to answer that before as well, and I'm trying to answer that now as well. You should all know where to vent your anger towards. Us going to Pakistan has nothing to do with what happened in Pahalgam. Whether I went there or I didn't go there doesn't matter. And again, as I said, you have to also figure out where this stems from. What I did was people-to-people contact, and we covered cricket. I don't think anybody I meet or know in Pakistan even has the remotest idea of how this happens. This is done at a government level. This is done at an agency level. This is done with that. The problem lies with the agencies that they have in place, the systems that they have in place, the way their army functions, and so on and so forth. I don't think a regular person in India or per se or in Pakistan even has the remotest of idea of how it happens. The sad thing is that a common person loses his life. But there are many wheels within wheels. So my interaction was with regular Pakistanis. And why should I lie? When I went there, I had no issues. I had no security threat. Nobody mistreated me, nothing. So should I be lying by that? But the problem is, your issue is not with a regular Pakistani. Your issue is with the Pakistan state. And that is what needs to be dealt with. If you are traveling in a world where you are staying in Australia and your neighbor is Pakistani and he is a good neighbor to you just as anyone, what are you going to do? You'll stop talking to him because he's from Pakistan. Can't understand. You will treat him the same way he treats you. If he respects you, you'll respect him back. If he's nasty to you, you'll be nasty to him back. Right? It's as simple as that. You treat a person as a person. Anyone who's involved in this kind of a thing, who's a radical, I have problems with that. I don't have problem with regular people, whoever that might be. So I think you need to. Yeah, I don't want to. That's what I'm saying. Exactly. All of them, they went because they went on an assignment. Whether it's your foreign minister, whether it is your BCCI people, they went on an assignment. That's what their job is. And if you're going there, people point out you ate this and you ate that or whatever. Yeah, did. So what am I going to do? I'll stay hungry there. And if the food was good, it was good. What are you supposed to do? I mean, that's what I'm saying. People need to understand the thing and vent their anger to, what the issue is. Like, for example, this guy called Akshar, I'm guessing this is not his real name. He's obviously copied it from Akshar Patel. Nobody spells their name like that. So if he can't be original with his name, then I can't expect him to be original with his comment. And usually I ignore people like that. But I will make that point. Yes, that land belongs to my ancestors, come from there. What is wrong with that? And if I want to take my mother to her ancestral town, which may be now divided by a boundary, does not mean anything. Right? And again, as I said, I don't have to prove anything to anybody. Know what's best inside. But as I said, I wish people could be more intelligent and understanding of the situation and try to deal with the issue at hand. That's why I said, even what we're discussing cricket, at the end of the day, if you play cricket or don't play cricket, what is the main motive, right, to ensure such incidents don't happen? How can that be ensured? You'll have to find a way of ensuring that and try and understand how that can be done. Everything else is unimportant.
Secondary.
And secondary is also it's just unimportant. It's not even of any consequence.
We do what we have to do.
Yeah.
As simple as that.
Yeah.
And life goes on. It's a bitter truth. Life goes on. We have to move on with it.
Yeah, it's like when people pass the comment that you went and ate halwa there or whatever. I think one of the biggest aggressor against India has been China. Everyone carries a Chinese TV or phone or whatever. You're all doing the same. But I don't blame you. By you using a Chinese phone, you're not enabling them. You have to be dealing with China at a diplomatic, at a government, at a military level. That has to be done. So just because you're using an AC which may be made in China does not make you a traitor.
Exactly, yeah. I mean,
it's just that's the level.
On the Chinese example, I mean, once when America and Germany were not on the same page, they renamed sauerkraut to Liberty cabbage. But did it make any kind of difference? No, it didn't. Yeah. So that's the way. That's how it is actually.
Like Harit Yadav says, get this mentality out, sir. The people there want Indians dead. Their social media shows that very clearly. That is why I like that they suspended the Indus Water Treaty. Can I tell you, Harit, that is wrong. I don't think a common Pakistani thinks like that. Trust me when I say that. That's like, saying that, just go to his comment, just 1 second.
He is
No, there's there below. So you're talking about their social media and the hate that you see. Just sometimes see our media, mainstream media and our social media also in terms of hate. they feel the same thing. But that's what I'm saying, hate begets hate. So if you were to see a lot of stuff that is done, a lot of our stuff is very balanced, very thing. But a lot of our stuff, if they are to see it, they'll also think that there is hatred for them. And they do feel like that. I've not felt like that. No matter what you say, you're not going to change my mind into what I experienced and what I saw. Normal people don't want that. As I said, Pakistan as a state, I agree with Siddharth, is on the verge of being a failed state. They need to introspect on that and figure that out. And it has been into trouble for many years. And that has affected the country adversely. And they are the ones who are paying a price for it. And that's their own mess to handle, you know.
And again, social media is a very fickle thing. Yeah, they are without a face. You don't know. They will never come out in the open, and that is why never ever take social media as the prime barometer. It fails every single time. The test of credibility, the test of everything. Just have a look. Even if you meet India and Pakistan ordinary people, they are very cordial with each other.
Yeah, exactly. As I said, normal people, you know, some people may think of, I'm just giving you another example, it's not related, but if you go abroad, people may think of Indians are like that, but all Indians like that. People think Indians, you know, are all techies. You know, there's just a sort of stereotypes that you make about Indians in the Western world. Do you like that? I don't like that. They are misers, you know, in the Western world. I don't like that. Those are stereotypes. But when those people meet Indians or different types of Indians, then they develop a different knowledge about them when you meet. Not everyone is the same. Not every, you know, there are a lot of people that develop this thing that your Indians are coming as illegal immigrants in a lot of. Are all Indians like that? No, na. So then, that's the case. I don't think a common Pakistani is like that, and I still maintain that. I've seen that. But yes, their country and people that represent their country and the institutions are failed and are rogue institutions that need to be dealt with. And I agree with that, the common Pakistani will have to pay a price, but that's how it is. You elected those people, you'll have to pay a price for it.
Absolutely. Yep.
Chalo, on that note, we will wind up. I'm sure you're all interested in watching the IPL match,
Yes.
so enjoy that. And at the end of
RCB
the
are
game,
off to a
at
flyer.
the end of the game,
Yes.
come for the analysis.
Yep. Mid match, and then we'll be there for Lengthy post match. Bye bye. See you.
See
is
you.
playing today. No Josh Hazelwood.